For most characters in Third Strike, the finer points of the juggle system are very difficult to observe. Few characters can hit the limits, but nearly every single character can employ juggles on some level. Here are some notable launching moves. As you can see, launching hits can combo into normals. Rather than retaining the knockdown like SFXT, these normals instead reset the opponent back on their feet like an air-to-air, during which they are invincible to all normal and special moves. These resets can be very tricky. Juggling into normals that either slam or knock down a normal connect, however, retain these effects. In Street Fighter 3, supers can still juggle after a reset, and they can be parried but not blocked. Beginning from and counting the launching hit, there is an invisible counter that tracks the number of hits in your juggle. With each hit, there are fewer and fewer frames you can still hit the opponent before they become invincible and fall out. When the juggle counter hits about 6 or 7, it becomes incredibly difficult to get more attacks. With this combo, it's easy to see the limit followed by invincibility as it is a repeatable loop. After the juggle counter hits 6, additional hits have to be very close together to juggle. This does not necessarily mean 6 hits, as many attacks count for more than 1 hit on this juggle counter. Every attack in the game, regardless of whether it knocks down or launches, has a programmed juggle value. For example, Oro's launcher has a juggle value of 1 for the first hit. The second hit of the launcher adds a value of 3, 4 total if you let the launcher connect fully. Urian's launcher, by contrast, is functionally 0 then 2. The reason the first hit is functionally 0 is because it does not actually launch, most obvious if you try and cancel it. If you dizzy the opponent midair, it causes a juggleable knockdown and can be considered a launcher. It should be noted that nearly all air normals add 3 to the juggle counter. When an opponent is reset, the juggle value of the move that reset them is still counted. If the counter is low enough, they can actually still be hit by supers prior to landing. One should be careful when attempting to parry out, however, as performing a successful mid-air parry resets your own juggle counter. If the opponent's juggle counter is too high, supers will not connect on them, even if they're reset into the super. Supers have a very curious effect on the juggle counter. Some supers reset the juggle counter, some add to it normally, and some maintain it. Yun's Ganagian is a very famous example of a super that resets the juggle counter every hit. Oro actually has two different supers with his third super art. One with 3 stones that last a long time and add normally to juggles. And another 5 stone super where the stones reset the juggle limit each time they connect, but they don't last nearly as long. Getting a dizzy mid-juggle allows attacks that normally reset the opponent to now juggle them, though it maintains the existing juggle counter. This vastly opens up options for the entire cast, and everyone is capable of making extremely flashy or high damage stun juggles. You can see many of these in KYSG's series of SF3 combo videos if you're curious. Normals that reset still inflict juggle values. Oro's far forward normally resets, but during a stun juggle we can see it adds 1 to the juggle counter. Meanwhile, Oro's towards strong has a juggle value of 6. Oro and Urien have very slow projectile supers, and they have more time to perform cross-up unblockables the more hits they have of these supers. As such, they will try to end a combo with the juggle state such that the super will hit the bare minimum number of times and lose the fewest number of hits. In Third Strike, all knockdowns are techable save super art knockdowns. I don't expect everyone that watches this to suddenly be able to work juggle miracles with their character so much as I'm just documenting everything I know. But I think people who have a good understanding of the engine might be able to sneak in a little extra damage here and there by recognizing a juggle situation.